Hi guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is going to be yet another pop culture conspiracy theories video for you guys. I am obsessed with pop culture. You should probably know this by now. I low-key am always paying attention to celebrity drama, like what people are talking about, what's going on in the pop culture world, because I find it so damn interesting and there's some dark shit. So without further ado, let's get into the conspiracy theories. All right, the first theory that I want to talk about, I guess, I don't know if you would consider Disney to be pop culture, but it's, you know, relevant in the media. I saw this right after I uploaded my Dark Side of Disney video, and I was really frustrated that I didn't know about this prior to filming that video because this is legitimately insane. Basically, Disney has the right to kill you legally if you sign up for a Disney Plus subscription, and this is fucking nuts. So in October of 2023, a man named Jeffrey Piccolo was with his wife at Disney Springs and they were eating dinner, and after they informed the Disney waiter several times that his wife had a severe nut allergy and she needed the food to be allergen free. Again, the waiter at Disney reassured her everything was fine and that there were no nuts anywhere in the food that she was eating. So feeling safe, she went ahead and ate her meal, and 45 minutes later she began having difficulty breathing, and she passed away in the hospital even though she had self-administered her EpiPen during the allergic reaction. She just didn't make it, and that is so sad. And her husband, Jeffrey Piccolo, decided to take some legal action with Disney, and he was suing Disney for only like $50,000, which like is really not a lot in the grand scheme of things. I feel like a regular restaurant that's not associated with Disney could get sued for that much. So Disney is asking the Florida courts or whatever for a dismissal of this lawsuit, arguing that Piccolo had agreed to settle any lawsuits with Disney out of court when he signed up for a 1-month free subscription to Disney Plus in 2019. Nobody fucking reads the like terms and conditions of anything pretty much. But like for like Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, like who's reading that shit? But apparently what it says is, quote, any dispute between you and us, Disney, except for small claims, is subject to a class action waiver and must be resolved by individual binding arbitration. That's fucking crazy. So basically there are 150 million subscribers to Disney Plus, and all of those people have waived their rights away to sue Disney as a company. And that's fucking scary. It really just makes you question how many different giant corporations do this. But I do think Disney is low-key one of the scariest because they have always been very suspicious about death and death at their theme parks specifically. They never want to be held responsible for people dying on Disney property, and that is crazy. Like they have their own medical team that get you from like the park to somewhere where an actual ambulance can pick you up because like they don't let the ambulance in there. It was crazy. Like there is some dark shit on that. Honestly, you can go watch the video I've done on it. It was nuts to research because again, Disney is a children's network. That's what it's supposed to be. So it is so strange to me that there is such a dark connotation around it. The fact that I'm like pissed that I've signed up for Disney Plus. Like now I can't sue Disney, God forbid anything. Like you just can't. That's crazy. And honestly, I don't know. I hope the court like overturns this freaking waiver because that is preposterous. Like actually insane. And the Disney restaurant like definitely should be held responsible for that. That's crazy. So let me know your guys' thoughts, because when I saw that, I actually thought it was fake, and in fact, I looked and it's true. But really, it does make you wonder if any other companies have gone to this extent that we just don't know about, because like a situation like this doesn't happen every day, and it's honestly really scary. Like, it's crazy that they could have that kind of power. Like, that's actually nuts. Maybe we should start reading the terms and conditions. I mean, like, I'm not going to, but like maybe we should have ChatGPT read it and be like, highlight anything that sounds weird. That's kind of a good idea. Although I know a lot of people don't trust AI either, but I trust AI more than I trust friggin' Disney at this point. Shit. All right, the next theory we're going to be talking about comes from the royal family. Y'all know I love anything that has to do with the royal family because I think they're sus. I mean, I think everyone kind of agrees with this, but they're weird. They got something weird going on. I'm not going to lie. Don't really know what it is. besides incest, but something else weird. There just is weird vibes, okay? So basically, I think because vampires are popping off right now, I don't know if that's just my For You page or if you guys have that too, because like, what the fuck is that? If it's real and like vampires are popping off right now and everyone wants to hear about them, let me know, because I will do a 2-hour video on vampires like it's 2009, like no tomorrow. But either way, there is a theory that King Charles, I actually like hate calling him that, like actually full disrespect to King Charles, because you disrespected Princess Diana in front of everybody. You're Prince Charles to me. Prince. If that. Seriously though, I just feel like world has gone so awry since we don't have a queen anymore. Like that's just, it's not for men. Like it should be queens only. Like I don't know. Anyway, so there's a theory that King Charles is actually related to Vlad the Impaler, aka Dracula, aka some old bitch from forever ago. Let's talk about his early life and why that means that King Charles could actually be a vampire. So Vlad the Impaler was born in 1431 in Transylvania, which is now part of modern day Romania. His name Dracula came from the meaning son of Dracal, aka son of the dragon. So Vlad the Impaler was like a ruler of a region in modern Romania throughout the 15th century, and he was known as being extremely cruel and brutal and stabbing his enemies with like very sharp stakes, which is why he's known as the Impaler. So the connection between vampirism and Vlad the Impaler largely comes from Bram Stoker's Dracula. So Stoker's fictional character Count Dracula was inspired by Vlad the Impaler, but the connection between the historical figure and the vampire itself is more symbolic rather than literal. Like essentially Dracula is obviously a vampire, a supernatural creature, but Vlad was just like a very brutal, terrible historical figure. So it's theorized that Vlad the Impaler was in fact a vampire, but nobody really has any proof or anything to go by other than that this man seemed to have no humanity. So that's, I guess, important to note. And basically the theory is that King Charles is actually a descendant of Vlad the Impaler, making him also a vampire. I mean, to be honest, I think if vampires are real, there's no way in hell that they're not part of the royal family. Because think about it, like logistically, if you're living forever, I think you're going to become at some point a celebrity or a part of the royal family, like some type of royalty somewhere in power. And not to be confused with like getting caught. I don't know, social media might confuse things now, but I feel like any dark part of the government, or like not just the US government, obviously this is the royal family over in the UK, but I think the dark parts of any government, they have pockets of people who are just up to suspicious things. It wouldn't surprise me if there are vampires. Like obviously they would be bloodsuckers in the frickin' royal family. Like, come on. A lot of people think that this theory coincides with the fact that the royal family members just seem to not fucking die. Like, they stay alive forever, though the queen, not long enough in my opinion. I've always said I think something dark is going on with the royal family. To be honest, don't think they're cool enough to be vampires. Sorry. Like what King Charles did to Princess Diana, Damon Salvatore would never. So next. The next theory that I want to talk about is all about the Kardashians. I feel like anytime we talk about pop culture, they are who comes to mind because they're quite literally some of the most famous people in the world, and there is a dark theory surrounding their family that I actually believe. So Kris Jenner actually has a niece named Natalie Zettel, who is in fact also a model. And if you're like, why have I never heard of her? She's literally the cousin to all of the Kardashians. The answer might be that Kris Jenner specifically wanted it to stay that way. So Natalie is the daughter of Karen Houghton, who was Kris Jenner's sister. Karen recently passed away, but for a long time, Kris never really addressed Karen. Like they seem to have some sort of falling out, but no one's quite sure exactly what happened. But in 2016 and earlier, all of the Kardashians all followed Natalie on Instagram. They would all hang out together. They were seen taking pictures together. But fans recently noticed that they have all unfollowed each other and the last time they were seen together in public was 2016. So the theory goes that Kris Jenner didn't want her niece to get in the way of Kendall's up-and-coming career as a model. So people believe that Kris Jenner has enough pull in the industry to kind of blackball Natalie and make sure that she would never have a successful career in the modeling industry. I mean, I think it's obviously an interesting theory considering like Kendall Jenner is quite literally like the product of nepotism. Like, why wouldn't you want to help your cousin out if she's cool? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense to me. It seems like literally every single person a part of this Kardashian family is famous. Like, even the grandma is famous. Like, I know more about her than I know about my actual grandma. So, like, what's up with that? There's rumors that the reason that Kris and her sister Karen were estranged in the first place is because Kris never helped Natalie with her modeling career. And honestly, I think that that could be true. My sister was super famous and also just this incredible manager and was very great at getting her kids like to be high levels of stardom, and she wasn't helping my daughter too. I would be like, girl, what the fuck? Like, that's so mean. And I just find it pretty wild that there is this girl who is very beautiful, model-esque, Kardashian-esque, who is literally first cousins of all of the Kardashians, and nobody knows who she is. And I just think that's weird. I don't know. In my opinion, something about it is very suspicious, and I honestly don't like it. Justice for this girl. I feel like that sucks. I mean, especially because the Kardashians are so big on, like, blood is thicker than water. Like, they're obsessed with, like, their family members. Like, they consider, like, Scott Disick and Tristan Thompson their family members just because they're the baby daddies. Even though Scott specifically has, and Tristan, let's be real, and Kanye, but mostly Scott has treated their daughter like actual shit, and Kris Jenner still treats him like a son. It is beyond me that she actually has a genuine blood niece, like her sister's daughter, that she wouldn't want to help her career in any way. I don't know, something about it just rubs me the wrong way. But let me know your guys' thoughts. All right, the next theory I want to talk about is method acting. We've talked about method acting before, and honestly, I saw this theory on TikTok that like perhaps method acting could go a bit too far in a lot of circumstances, but also I saw that it could mean that some of the people that these celebrities are trying to channel actually end up attaching themselves to them like as dark entities. For example, Austin Butler and Elvis Presley. So obviously we all know Austin Butler went in on the Elvis movie. He locked in. He really he ate that shit up, not gonna lie. And even though I think Elvis is still alive, which we've talked about before, I do think that if he's not, I think Austin Butler is being haunted by Elvis Presley to this day. Even Austin claims that he was visited by Elvis Presley's ghost. Don't like that. Don't like that. But where it scares me is Ross Lynch and Jeffrey Dahmer. So Ross Lynch played a very famous serial killer in My Friend Dahmer in 2017. And I'll never forgive Ross for saying this. Me acting like I was on a first name basis with Ross Lynch. I'll never forgive him. He said that when he stepped into Dahmer's home, because they filmed at Jeffrey Dahmer's actual house, that he, quote, felt at home. What do you mean by that, Ross? What do you mean by that? And he also said that when he got home at night, the only thing that made him feel like he would get out of character was that he would shower and pretend that he was washing Dahmer down the drain. Like, dude, you're playing one of the most prolific serial killers of all time, and you're like, I feel like him? That's crazy. No, method acting can go way too far. I also think that this did occur in the case of Heath Ledger playing the Joker. Heath Ledger was just super intense with his role of the Joker in The Dark Knight 2008. He apparently isolated himself in his hotel room for a month to prepare for the role. He experimented with different aspects of the Joker's persona and kept a diary as the character. And the theory suggests that Heath Ledger's dedication to portray the Joker in such a real and authentic way is what led Heath Ledger to struggle with addiction and have several issues that ultimately led to his death. And I 100% think that that's true, and it's really, really sad and scary, especially because he was overdosed on prescription meds that were prescribed for various things like anxiety, insomnia. And I'm sure those are all products of how the role of the Joker took a toll on his mental health. And that's just crazy. All right, the next theory I want to talk about has to do with Ariana Grande and Jim Carrey. These are my favorite two people to talk about in the same sentence because I just think it's so funny. This theory is hilarious, but Ariana has been a huge fan of Jim Carrey for literally years. But there was a 2019 blind item that said, quote, "I think we all know the hooking up of the former A-plus list mostly movie actor and the A-list singer was inevitable. People speculate that that is Jim Carrey and Ariana Grande." Girl, I don't know. And then people further speculate that break up with your girlfriend on board is about Jim Carrey. Imagine being about the Grinch. Like, I can't. That would be so funny. And honestly, for younger Ariana, I love that for her, that if she really did hook up with Jim Carrey ever, I think that's really important. And it also kind of makes you look at Eternal Sunshine differently, because Eternal Sunshine is obviously named Eternal Sunshine after one of Jim Carrey's like greatest movies, in my opinion, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And like, even though a lot of people speculate it's about her divorce with Dalton Gomez, what if it low-key has a little bit of Jim Carrey wrapped in there as well? If anything, I feel like they were just like a little fling situationship. And I would be so here for that. Like, I feel like if I became, like, if I was Ariana Grande, because I know Ariana to her core is such a fan. Her literal email used to be jimcarreyfan42@aol.com. Like, she was a fangirl to begin with. And also, many fangirls, if you gave us the opportunity to be that famous, like, obviously you're gonna hook up with all of your faves. Jim Carrey is just another drop in the bucket. I don't know. I think that's great, but let me know if you guys believe it. All right, the next theory I want to talk about, I saw on the Jumpers Jump podcast, and this shit was so interesting. It blew my mind, but it's basically the theory that the richest people in the world, the one thing that they cannot buy is youth. So in order to make themselves appear younger, obviously we could get plastic surgeries and all of that, but aging is just still gonna happen naturally. What can the elites do to like even the playing field so they are always seen as younger and better looking and more attractive? Apparently they could have the government set up fast food and processed food in such a way that makes us age faster. I hate that. But I also think it's interesting if you look at it on the makeup/beauty sides of things, because obviously we're constantly promoted beauty products by various celebrities, have their own makeup lines and skincare brands. What if their products are actually just making your skin worse and making you uglier? Like, I kind of think that this could be true, because these celebrities also have access to the most like high-end ways of maintaining their health and their beauty. And so yes, in theory, like they probably just do these skincare brands and these makeup companies to make more money, but what if they're actually doing it to make them uglier? Because honestly, I see a lot of people that do not even use their own skincare. They're like, I wouldn't even put that on my skin. Could this also go hand in hand with makeup trends? Like, could celebrities be like promoting weird trends? Like, whoever said that sperm eyebrows were cute? Who did that? I do think that this theory makes a lot of sense, and it does scare me that like rich people/celebrities have the access to the highest things to make them the most powerful, healthy elite that you can be, and I hate that. All right, the next theory we're going to talk about has to do with Miss Sabrina Carpenter. She's everywhere right now, and I love that for her. She's really popping off, but there have been so many different rumors surrounding Sabrina Carpenter and the release of her album, Short and Sweet. So a blind item came out about a week ago saying, quote, Megan Blondals, aka Sabrina Carpenter, recently released her album and it's making waves for a few reasons. First, it's clear she's still holding a grudge against her ex, the Canadian singer Shawn Mendes, and his Cuban ex-girlfriend Camila Cabello. Last year, after their PR-driven relationship ended because he wouldn't commit and instead rekindled things with his ex, Sabrina wanted to do a part 2, but he declined and moved on with an older woman, Dr. Jocelyn Miranda, who is rumored to be linked to a cult. Unable to find A-list celebrities, her team settled upon up-and-coming actor Barry Kehogan and orchestrated a series of strategic leaks, photo ops, and stories to create buzz around her album. The breakup was deliberately leaked just 3 days before her album dropped to maximize attention and keep her fans engaged. In her song, Sabrina takes jabs at her Canadian despite their brief and shallow PR hookup. They barely spent any time together and had very little in common. He was never that interested, especially considering his decade-long history with Camila Cabello, who he was reportedly still trying to win back. Sabrina has become known for short-lived flings within the industry where often the men make returns to their exes. Yet she still remains the it girl heavily promoted by the industry. What's often overlooked is the pattern in pursuing men in relationships who have just recently broken up with someone that she knows, i.e. Joshua Bassett and Olivia Rodrigo. With Camila Cabello's career struggling, Sabrina is capitalizing on the situation, trashing both her and the Canadian singer, despite them being on the same label. Since the Canadian singer refuses to tour, the label has given Sabrina free rein to do whatever it takes to boost numbers. Camila has stayed quiet to support the Canada album and even supported Sabrina's career for 8 years before she was a success. Yet, Sabrina's fans are sending her death threats and labeling her a whore and slut for Canada picking her over Sabrina again. As for the actor, he's happy having fun and spending time with his ex, Alison Kierans, and their child. I honestly have gotten to the point where I believe that Barry Keoghan and Sabrina Carpenter's relationship is completely a PR stunt. It's just the timing of it is so bait. Like, it's so weird. Obviously, when Please, Please, Please came out, like, it's a funny song about how, like, don't embarrass me. People speculate, of course, that it's about Barry because they're dating and then he's in the music video. It's like the perfect PR situation. And I saw a TikTok basically talking about how they think that Sabrina and Barry maybe broke up a few months ago and that they actually waited for this album release to announce their breakup or kind of like send their breakup into the rumor mill. But this one TikToker actually believes that Sabrina and Barry were never actually dating, but casually in a like situationship. And I think that this actually lines up way more if you think about it, because based on the blind items we've seen, it kind of makes a lot of sense. And they both are just benefiting from the PR of it all. I don't know. I personally kind of think it's true, but let me know your thoughts. I also think it ties hand in hand again with the rise of Sabrina Carpenter. Everything about the rise of Sabrina Carpenter is, and I love her, and I love Taylor Swift, so don't get me wrong, but it's so Taylor Swift coded, and I said this conspiracy theory before that I think Taylor Swift might just be a mean girl, and it makes me really sad, and I hope I'm wrong. But we have to like take into account that Olivia Rodrigo, when she was skyrocketing to fame, Taylor Swift was so supportive of her, and then all of a sudden she releases Deja Vu. Taylor Swift gets pissed because there are similarities between Deja Vu and Cruel Summer. Don't hear it, by the way. I don't think they're similar at all. And there was still tension even after Olivia Rodrigo ended up giving Taylor Swift credit as a co-writer on Deja Vu. But Olivia and Taylor seemed to still have beef after that. And so a lot of people think that Sabrina Carpenter's like reason for fame was kind of Taylor Swift's way at pushing back at Olivia Rodrigo for stealing her song that she literally didn't steal, because Sabrina and Olivia have beef. They're the OG beef with Driver's License because they both dated Joshua Bassett. And then all of a sudden, Sabrina Carpenter is on tour with Miss Taylor Swift and they're besties. I just don't think it's a coincidence, because then she fucking popped off, and I just feel like that exposure from the Eras tour definitely helped. And that's just my opinion. I don't know. A lot of people think that maybe Taylor Swift did that on purpose and invited Sabrina to open for her on the Eras tour just out of spite with Olivia Rodrigo, and I kind of believe it. All right, speaking of Taylor Swift, we're going to talk about one of her besties who is in a lot of hot water lately, Miss Blake Lively. So there has been so much going on lately about Blake Lively having mean girl energy. There's been a lot of drama surrounding her new movie, It Ends With Us. And I'm sure you've heard about it on TikTok. But Blake has also just been very rude to people in different interviews and stuff.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump. What about my bump?
I don't know. I'll say it. Blair. I'm a Blair girl, okay? I know I only watched Gossip Girl for the first time this year, but I just think if you're a Serena girl, you need to like look inward, because I think you're for the boys. I think you're like, Blair girls are girls. That's a fact. Anyway, not that they are their characters, although there was tons of speculation on. We could do a whole fucking video on Blake Lively, honestly. She's got a lot to deep dive on. But either way, there is a conspiracy theory going around that Blake is actually using her friendship with Taylor Swift to kind of mend her reputation in the media. And I 100,000% believe this. So even though I have my conspiracies about Taylor Swift, and I do believe a lot of people are starting to wonder if Taylor Swift is a mean girl, I do still think that she has a redeeming energy, that if you're seen with Taylor Swift and if you're in her clique, you're good to go. Like, you're cool. And I do believe this to be true. But recently there was a blind item that said, quote, A-list actress made sure the Pops knew that she was at the home of A-plus list singer. She loves playing that card, so people will leave her alone, but it won't help her get another job. An A-minus list actress made sure to get photos snapped at the beach house. She hired the person and told them when and where to be. It is impossible to get shots of anyone there unless it's planned and approved. And that is all about Blake Lively being in Taylor Swift's beach house in Rhode Island for Blake's birthday. And I 100% believe that she called the Pops on them, because, again, as this blind item says, it is pretty much impossible to get any shots of people at Taylor Swift's house. I mean, obviously she's gonna have like the best security and precautions of keeping paparazzi out, and yet there are photos of Miss Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds just there. And I don't know, whatever. I kind of believe it, but also it scares me and it makes me really sad, because I love Taylor Swift, like I really do, but I do fear that she's not a girl's girl. I won't believe it for sure, unless I like actually knew her. But I just do not like the way that Blake Lively is, and like the fact that she's one of Taylor Swift's best friends. I feel like is kind of like, you know, I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts, but either way, that is it for today's video. If you guys liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of these pop culture conspiracy theories. If there's any celebrities that you want me to do a conspiracy theory video on, let me know in the comments as well. But that is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and subscribe for new videos every week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!